Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are reviewing Seeking Sister Wife Season 3 Episode 9. You dropped a bomb on me. Okay? Honey, y'all know y'all don't want me to break into song, okay? Because y'all already know I got something in the back of my mind for that title. If you are new here, then welcome. If you've been back for a second or third time, then welcome back. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of entertainment and a whole lot of laughter. If you can't take a joke, then this channel might not be for you. Thank you so much to all my new subscribers that watch my Seeking Sister Wife reviews. I really appreciate you. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. Oh, but before we do that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video and share it with a friend, okay? Tell somebody else that loves mindless television as much as we do, hey, you might want to check out this review. Okay, child, let's get into it as we gonna get into it, okay? So the episode opens up with the Clarks going to meet the potential new sister wife, Emily, okay? Because y'all remember, Head and Shoulders was over in the garage working on a car and whatnot. So he picked Emily up. And then, you know, Tweety Bird, a.k.a. Vanessa, came outside and was like, you guys want something to drink? Some lemon lime drinks? Who's all in? And then she went on back in the house as fake as day. And so now they're going to meet Emily, okay? So Jarod said, you know, it's hard to get over Kayla, but, you know, things are getting better since they broke up with her. You mean since she broke up with y'all, honey? After Kayla said, yes, sir, she never came back again because she realized how stupid that sounded to say yes, sir to you. Child, anyway, he said for his kingdom, he envisions 4 wives. I would not want to be involved with anything that has to do with his kingdom, okay? So they go to this little pub, and the whole time I'm thinking, is she even old enough to be inside of a pub, honey? Is she going to be able to drink something besides a Coca-Cola? So then they sit there, you know, they're like anxiously awaiting Emily, and she shows up. And so Jarod was like, oh, you have an address today. Oh, he is so creepy to me. Anyway, then he tells her, you know, they sell hard ciders. Do you want one of those? And she's like, yeah, I'll take one. So then she's like sitting there awkwardly with Vanessa. And so, you know, of course, she's really super nervous. And they're both like, you know, just awkwardly looking at each other. And then he comes back. We see Emily in the interview saying, you know, I've never been on a date with a couple, but I have my fingers crossed. Child, you should have your guard up. Honey, not your fingers crossed, your guard up, especially with these two. So Head and Shoulders said, why you nervous? You know, you shouldn't be nervous. Who wouldn't be nervous? Child, this is not something that people just ordinarily do every day. She says she's curious about the situation, but to be nervous is completely normal. So they, you know, they talk a little bit after that, and he said, I'm just wondering where your head is and why, you know, you're curious about this. So she said, you know, I'm curious as to how it works with 3 people and instead of 2 and what my role would be. So then he says, well, I don't have any rules or hard expectations. I'm not saying this person has to do this or that. Now, we all know that it's a lie. Yes, you do. You didn't even want Kayla to work outside the home. You had rules and roles, so you need to stop it. Vanessa was able to go on off and do her thing, and then Kayla had to stay in the house and clean the microwave and take care of the kids. And you know that was the role, honey. He said, well, some families have rules and restrictions and such and scheduling, but not us. Okay. Okay, well, whichever way you want to spin it, that's fine. So Emily asks, you know, what made y'all curious about me? So, you know, they're just like looking at her or whatever. So then Vanessa said, I want somebody to embetter me while I embetter them. I want a best friend. Well, go get a best friend, honey. She don't have to sleep with your husband. Talking about you want to get a best friend. Girl, anyway, child, don't try. Listen to me, Emily. Honey, I'm speaking directly to you. Child, this is just a ploy. And this is a play on words that they're using, honey, to try to manipulate you and confuse you into some mess, okay? So if I were you, I would drink my little hard apple cider, burp on my way out, and get gone, okay? So then Vanessa asked, you know, what interests you about this relationship? She said, well, you know, I want to grow and learn to see if this is me. She's like, I'm only 2 years old, and I kind of wish I had like some magic fairy dust to sprinkle to make myself a more beautiful flower and a wiser woman. Child, she barely legal to drink. Honey, I knew it. I knew it. 22 years old. Girl, you barely just got out of high school. exploring the world, having fun, being popping. Honey, you don't need to be sitting over here with these people talking about you gonna be a potential wife, honey. So Neck and Shoulder says, there is fairy dust. It's called life. Boy, hush. Anyway, y'all always target these young, inexperienced young women and not that don't have a lot of life experience so you can mold them. Girl, if you don't go live your 20s, no ma'am. So Jared says, I'm not only looking for a wife, but a person that can be another mother to my kids. They have a mom. Tweety Bird, you are looking for a live-in nanny. Child, you should have went on Super Nanny. Don't come over here trying to get these women and trying to make them sign up to be in your kingdom of Zamunda or whatever y'all doing over there. It's not right. I hate it. Oh my goodness. It's a bunch of creepy men out here. The only person that does not creep me out is Colton over at the Winders. But we'll get to them, okay? We're going to get into it as we get into it. So Vanessa said Emily is in her early 20s, so she's curious if she's ready to be involved in this and if she knows what it requires. Well, y'all didn't care about Kayla. Honey, she was just as young as Emily. So put down in the comments if y'all know how old Kayla was or is. Because, if she wasn't the same age as Emily, she definitely reads younger. So Vanessa said, what makes you trust us so much? She said, because they all are just so sweet to me and most people aren't. And right there at that moment, I felt sad for her. This young lady is really looking for refuge. And she's fresh out of a heartbreak and is acting on her emotions. Honey, y'all remember those days when you were in your early 20s and get a heartbreak? Child, be falling all over, playing sad love songs all day and night. Playing Toni Braxton over and over. Just be a man about it. Baby, you ain't gotta lie to me. No, 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 no. Just be a man about it. Child, let me tell you, I was playing all kind of stuff, girl. Crying, playing Ashanti's Rain on Me over and over. Rain on me. Child, I was like having a complete, utter breakdown. So, I can only imagine what she going through, child. She is on the rebound right now. So right now she can't be trusted in her emotions and the things that she's saying. I feel so bad for her. So she said, I'm scared about getting hurt again because of Mars. He said, who? These people are a mess. She said Mars. Mars was the girl. We're here on Earth. Okay, I know you were dealing with Mars, but here on Earth, Neck and Shoulders, Head and Shoulders, and Tweety Bird is trying to take you to the house where they don't have a headboard. And I heard somebody say in my comments under my last review that I pronounced it headboard. First of all, to the person who left that comment, you're now blocked. But if any of your little minions happen to be listening to this, I pronounce it with the D because it's spelled with the D. Okay, just so we're clear, honey. Let's get into it if we're going to get into it, okay? So, anyway, back over on planet Earth, they're talking about Mars, who is her ex-girlfriend, right? Child, you want Vanessa, not Jared. Let's just keep it real. You didn't come here for Jared. He's just somebody. But at the same time, Vanessa's attached to Jared, so, you got to go with him or whatever. So then he asks, well, how much of that lifestyle has been a part of your life? But you do like men now, right? So you think you're bisexual? She's like, no, I am bisexual. So then he says, well, that kind of threw me for a loop because we don't do it where they date the wives. Child, Vanessa just smiling. Vanessa gonna run away with Emily, honey. The dish gonna run away with the spoon. And you gonna be sitting there folding up clothes in an apron with all those hollering kids, child. So, child, listen. Then we go back over here to Colorado. Child, Garrick is back, y'all. He and Danielle are returning to Colorado, right? So all the kids run out to greet them. So instead of him saying how much he missed the kids, he starts saying, I really hated to leave Roberta. And, I hate leaving her, we long for the day that we don't have to do that anymore. No, you long for the day. Because quiet as it's kept, Danielle could really care less. Quite frankly, she feels like a weight has been lifted off her back and off of her shoulders. She feels very relaxed knowing that she don't have to worry about your little wife around every corner. Okay. And you trying to tuck her in, because I'm never going to forget that. So Danielle said, it's hard watching Garrick be sad over Roberta. Not that he doesn't, care that I'm here. I just know he misses her. That's exactly what it is. Wake up, honey. He does not care if you're there. He's so distraught over Roberta being gone. Girl, where are you? Child, Earth to Danielle, honey. Are you on Mars? Child, since we'll be talking about the planets all up and through this episode. So they come in. Her mom and her sister-in-law come in and ask how Danielle's trip was. She was like, oh, it was good. Was it? So her sister-in-law said, after I spoke to you on the phone, I couldn't even sleep. Just knowing how sad she was, right? So she said, I had some sad moments, but, I got over them. I was okay. So then she starts telling them about the intimacy, and then she starts blaming Roberta, because that's what she does, instead of having Garrick, okay, take responsibility for his own yucky actions. Okay, so her sister-in-law said, you've been sad and I just didn't want you to be sad. And so then she tells us in her little interview, she's like, she's been sad about the plural lifestyle before. She cried, they fought, and she just was nervous because she didn't want her to be depressed again. Danielle, why would you agree to this mess? If you knew it caused you mental anguish in the past, why would you agree to divorce your husband so that he can marry another lady and bring her over to the States only for you to be iced out? That is just insane, honey. I hope you were going to therapy during this Great Depression. Girl, that is crazy. Well, at least you can just walk away and not worry about a divorce, because this ain't gonna work. So her sister-in-law said, did you feel like the third wheel? Now they're giving her the third degree. Okay, as she's sitting there, they're trying to figure out exactly how Danielle feels, because we all know Garrick has not asked any questions. He could really care less about her mental well-being. So they're asking her, they're like sitting on the edge of the bed trying to figure out what I was doing, honey. So they said, did you feel like the third wheel? She said, sometimes. Child, all the time should have been your answer. He would have left you at the airport if he hadn't told you the name of the hotel. Danielle, come on now, honey. So then they asked, do you feel like Roberta was the favorite? Is Roberta getting special treatment? Do you feel like, he would just leave you for Roberta? Child, they were asking all the burning questions, okay? Her mama was not letting up. Do you think Roberta has a smaller shoe size than you? Does Roberta speak better into the phone than you do, honey? They were asking all kind of questions. I was like, oh, child, please answer this mama, honey, because she wants to know, okay? Inquiring minds want to know. So Danielle said, I thought he treated me kind of different on the trip. And, I kind of get sad at how excited he gets with Roberta. Honey, he lights up at the mere thought of Bert. Child, I probably want to watch Sesame Street with the kids just to hear the name Bert from Bert and Ernie. Girl, I wouldn't trust nothing about Garrick, okay? Ugh, his name is the right name, Garrick. Because every time I see him, I think, ick. Ugh, I want to throw up, okay? So his mama named him correctly. Moving forward, the family feels bad for her and says, she shouldn't be living that way. Now on back over with Tasha Jones in them. Y'all know I love to say the Joneses. It's just something about them, honey. We are keeping up with the Joneses. So Sidian and Tasha Jones, y'all, getting ready for his date. She's making sure that he looks like something, even though he looks like he's been dipped in dirt. Sidian, I'm gonna need you to wash up it's just something about you your look is not being pulled together. Tasha said, she loves when he's in love because it's so cute. Oh, Tasha Jones. So it's his first time seeing Alexandra. And, he said they have so much in common, so he can't wait to go on his date, right? But he can't help but feel like she may be the one for him. Because, they've been talking all kinds of stuff. All things science and, the moon and the stars above. So he just feels like, look, me and Alex, we might be a match. Okay, so she shows up in her little blue dress. Okay, Alex, nice to see you, honey. Don't come in, child. We'll come to you, okay? So she said, I'm 30. I'm an adventure tour guide, and I'm super excited to go on this date. But, I feel weird going out on a date with someone's husband. Well, honey, you couldn't be over on the Real Housewives of Atlanta because for them, honey, it's normal. Child, just Google Portia Williams, honey. She don't care nothing about it, child. Maybe she needs to be over here on this show. I'm just saying, just a thought, allegedly. Okay. So she said, after seeing them and seeing his wife come out, I feel like they made me feel okay about it. So I don't feel so bad. So they start walking to their destination with a little bit of banter. I bet that cameraman, mad as all get out, they decided to walk. Honey, that equipment is heavy. I bet he was like, why are y'all walking? So Alex said, no dinner and a movie? He said, no, I want to do something a little different. So they show up at this psychic. Not they stays 10 steps away from the psychic, child. You could not make this stuff up. This is pure TV gold. They literally live a few steps away from this psychic. Child, I'm done. So they're getting a love reading, right? So she said, you guys have a look on your face, and I feel like that you guys will be a very good couple. And so she asked about fire and dancing. Come to find out, Alex is also a fire dancer. Okay, girl, jack of all trades. That's interesting. So she said the two of them were together in a previous lifetime. So, Sidian just sitting over there eating it all up, right? But I could kind of tell that Alex was a little bit squeamish, but she wasn't really saying much, right? And then she was like, oh, and also I see that you're going to get married if you choose to do so, and you're going to have children. Now, I already knew based on her answer from last episode that she was not into having children, taking care of anybody else's children. I mean, she even stopped teaching children. Okay. Because you remember she said she was a preschool teacher, honey. Now she's guiding people up and down the adventurous tours. So, okay. So she said, Sidian is getting excited, but, I'm feeling the opposite. I knew it, Alex, because I could read your body language. She says, I wonder if we're on the same page. You're not, honey. Stop trying to make fetch happen. I don't know why this man is trying to make you a mother figure when you clearly stated to them last episode that you are not interested right now in being a parent because you just learned how to take care of yourself. So back over at the Clarks, they're still asking Emily about her sexuality, right? So Jarod said, I don't mind. Of course you don't. But he said, I don't mind if they compliment Vanessa, but I don't want them doing nothing else. So Emily said, so is this like an open relationship? He said, no. You're just going to be with us two. But you're not going to really be with Vanessa. You're just really only going to be with me, but you're going to be like her best friend. So after he explained it like that, y'all know what? This is just an open invitation to cheat without having any kind of repercussions. Like, just do your thing, honey. Go on, do whatever it is you're gonna do. Set yourself off, speak your speech, lay it low and spread it wide with whomever you decide, and the woman is gonna be okay with it because they get along. Okay, child. So he said, well, normally the wives don't engage. Baby, Emily said, you do realize a woman knows a woman's body best. Honey, let me tell y'all something. I told y'all, honey, Emily saw Vanessa in those god-awful tights, honey, and she want a little piece of that. I'm just saying, child. So he said, I'm competitive. Ain't no woman in the world can do what I do. Okay, sir. Honey, oh my goodness. So he's like, I think Emily's a little bit confused because, she heard the word poly and she's just thinking it's a free-for-all. We can do whatever we want with whomever we want, but that's not what I want. So basically, he wants monogamy in his polygamy. Child, I ain't got time to play with him. So she said, I'm still interested though. Child, watch out, Jarod, honey, because Emily is coming for your woman. I'm just telling you now. So he said, you keep saying the word explore like you're Dora. I try not to laugh at that. But when this boy called this woman Dora the Explorer, honey, I am too through. See, that's why, but you know about them cartoons, honey, because she's still a kid. Crazy behind. He was like, we aren't looking for an explorer. They want a forever wife. So Vanessa said, we need somebody that already knows because Kayla was still finding herself. Y'all need to stop targeting these young women. That's what y'all need to stop doing. Okay, if you want to be in this type of relationship, then you need to find someone who is already settled and established and has gone through life and realizes that this may be something they might be interested in. Not these young girls just starting out in the world. Honey, you're just getting your first taste of freedom and independence. You want to be tied down to you and cleaning up them stoves or whatever y'all get mad about over there? Child, Over in Utah, the Winders, Kimberly is still there hanging out with the girls. Okay, they're still getting to know her, and once Colton gets home, they're going to see how he feels about her, because Colton hasn't said much. We have our theories, but we just don't know. Okay, so Kimberly said, I thought about polygamy because I wanted strong bonds outside of my family. She's really close to her sisters, and so she wanted a sisterly bond in her relationships as well. I find that kind of weird, but I mean, to each its own. Okay, the more the merrier, I guess. So Colton comes home, he brings some takeout, right? So they're getting ready to eat dinner. On the other end of the table, Colton up there slurping up his soup, unbothered, okay, acting like he ain't even at the table. So Tammy said, well, how do you like how quiet Colton is? They already know that Colton doesn't say much, but for Kimberly, it might be a little bit off-putting because she may think, well, dang, does he even like me? He's not saying anything. So anyway, he was like, it's hard for me to carry conversations because, I work alone on a farm. So if I'm not with people all day long, when I come home, it's kind of hard to pick up conversations. Oh, the quiet farmer with multiple women. Colton, you a pimp, child? Colton said, I ain't even got to talk to him, and I got 2 or 3 on me. I know that's right, Colton. So Kim said, well, I'm quiet, but so it's perfectly fine that he's quiet too. So then Sophie asked her if she knew what courtship was. Child, Sophie, listen, everyone knows what courtship is. I mean, some people may not, but I just thought that was a strange question because, you should know at your big grown age what courtship is. So she's like, yeah. She said, well, it's dating with the intent of marriage. She just said yes. So why would you give her the definition? Sophie, put your listening ears on, honey. So she's like, Tammy was like, we don't really like to be alone with each other. So we do go on our dates chaperoned. Sometimes it was the grandmother, the grandpa, the uncle. Sometimes all of us went, honey. It doesn't matter. Sometimes that's how it goes. So basically it's like being 13 all over again with your first date. And they want to make sure y'all don't try no funny business. I'm just saying. So she's like, we don't believe in alone time. Ugh, okay. So Kimberly said, I like it that way. I feel like that's the way you can trust me more. So it's quite all right with me. I feel like Kimberly is uncomfortable and is just going along to get along because I don't feel like this is how she actually feels. I don't know if it's a nervous energy she has, but it just seems like, I just feel like she feels uncomfortable. She was like, I was happy to be in a judge-free zone because back home they do know that I'm interested in this type of relationship, but they judged her and she's just so happy to not have to deal with that. Oh, I like Kimberly. Kimberly, I'm sorry about me talking about your 3 strands of hair last week, honey. Because you know what? You seem like a sweet lady. And you just want to be accepted and loved, honey. And we all want that, okay? So she asked, well, how many wives are you planning on having? Honey, if it was up to Colton, just Tammy and Sophie. So you might not want to ask him that. Or you might be on the first plane back to wherever you came from. So, they were just saying, financially right now, the purse strings are a little bit tight. We're not going to be able to do it. Just had a new baby. Colton was like, I feel like Tammy and Sophie are closer than I am to them because sometimes I feel like I'm the third wheel. And so they were saying, like with a third wife, one wife can go out with Colton and then the other 2, they have each other. So y'all got some codependency issues going on or what is happening that you can't be alone at home? Honey, I used to love when my husband would leave for a little while. Goodbye, child. I'll see you when you get back. Okay. So Tammy was like, well, it's good sometimes to be home alone. I know it is, child. Constantly somebody always around. Sometimes you just want some solitude. So Tammy said, are the sparks flying between Colton and Kimberly? I'm not sure, but Colton isn't a firework, honey. They said it's not going to be any Katy Perry playing in the background when Colton jumps on the scene. I'm just saying, honey, he's not a firework. So she was like, well, we shouldn't be in love anyway, so it's cool. But I'm just saying, even the most boring man still has a small gleam in his eye. I don't know. Maybe Colton is just socially awkward. I'm not sure. Back over here with Vanessa and Jarod. They're on their way home from the date. Okay. They said it was interesting, but Jarod said on the date there were a ton of red flags. He was like, I feel like she's still finding herself. Now, you feel threatened because she seemed more into Vanessa than you. Honey, you ain't fooling me. I'm just saying. He's like, I kept hearing her say the word explore, and Kayla wanted to explore, and now she exploring them streets. Okay, Kayla back on the prowl, child. She outside all summer 2021. She is outside, okay? So Vanessa said, it's really tough to find someone. Honey, it is because y'all keep targeting the local high school. Go find some real grown women, and then it might not be so hard. Back over on Sidian's date, they go to have a seat in the front yard. So Alex said, I want to run, but he's bringing back wine. She didn't say that, but y'all know I like to zhuzh it up. No, but she actually said sitting there made her think about what the psychic said, and she's nervous because I think she don't want Sidian to get the wrong idea, okay? So she asked him what he thought about the psychic. He was like, well, I was just wondering if some of the things were true. And she was like, I don't know about the kids part, but I want you to know, what I'm looking for. So then she asked, what are you looking for? So after she asked him, he answered, but then he asked her back. She said, well, I'm dating a few people and I might not want to stop. I might want a few husbands. That sounds annoying. I know that's right. Girl, listen. No, thank you. One man is enough. Child, I can barely keep up with one. I sure do not want more than one. But anyway, child, good for you, honey. You said, why can't I have multiple husbands? Now, Alex, you knew what you were signing up for when you came to go on this date to walk down the street and come right back. You already knew. So Sidian was like, I really like her, and I want to build a relationship with her, and I want her to build a relationship with Tasha. She wants a true friendship. Child, Sidian said, I'm a little upset that she doesn't want to be a mom, though. She told y'all that last week, and now y'all have been friend zoned. Child, she said friends only. She's like, I don't mind being friends with Tasha Jones and them, honey, and I would love to form a relationship, but as far as going further, honey, it's a no. Anyway, back over to Danielle and Garrick. Honey, I done put them together, child. Back over here to D&G. She's thinking about our conversation with her mom and Samantha, and she said, I want to get some things off my chest. Finally, tell them exactly how you feel. Let's get into it if we're going to get into it, Danielle. So she wants them to know how she feels because, she was getting jealous when they were on the trip, as you should have been. So he said, well, she was like, yeah, I just wanted you to know that I was feeling kind of jealous. He said, well, we talked about it and Bert reassured you with her love. It's not Bert we are worried about, you little dweeb. Why don't you reassure her with your love? Her loyalty is to you and yours is to her. So why do you keep throwing in, well, Bert tried to make you feel better? Oh, you little twerp. Anyway, he said, you were gone for a moment and we had some intimacy. Child, just say sex. Ugh. He was like, I kissed her and I felt a strong passion. No, you went there with the intent of laying down with your little hot tamale. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying nothing you are selling, child. It's nothing he could tell me because I would be arguing back and forth, honey. He wouldn't even want a sister-wife relationship with me. He would be like, you know what? I'm good on you, Misha. No, thank you. So Danielle said, your intention was to be intimate. He's like, what do you mean? She said, you invited me over. She invited me over. You agreed, but I feel like you wanted to be with her alone. How am I wrong for thinking that? Everything about you is wrong. And why are you wearing that stupid hat in this house? Oh my goodness. So then Danielle said, I'm not saying it's wrong. I just wish you were honest. He said, so I should have just told you? She said, that's how I feel because in hindsight, I just see that you didn't want me there. I felt like a third wheel. I should have just left. Child. Then she's like, I felt like an intruder. Now, instead of him saying, no, why would my wife feel like an intruder? He kept saying, so I should have just told you to leave. So I should have just told you I wanted to be intimate. Danielle, pay attention. Wake up, honey. You're old news in his eyes. It's all about Roberta. I don't know how you don't see it. He said, didn't we have a conversation about the fact that we would be intimate? She said, yes, but I wish you would have just told me. So then he starts gaslighting her, saying, well, if the roles were flipped, would you do that? She says, this isn't going anywhere, honey. It's not. I'm glad you see it. But listen to me, Danielle. Would you have really been okay if he told you that he wanted to be intimate with Roberta? You already looked like you were about to cry when he was trying to tuck you in. So I'm sure if he said, hey, once we get to the hotel, I'm going to want to be intimate with Roberta, you would have been thinking about that all night, especially since your walls were attached to each other. Child, you were sleeping on the other side of that wall. Y'all should have gotten like hotel rooms on opposite ends of the resort or something like that. So the producers asked Ick if he thinks Danielle is just doing this to please him. He's like, no, I don't have any concerns that she's being forced to live this way. I think without a doubt, she knows God led her here to be blessed. Oh my goodness. He is truly delusional and dead behind the eyes, okay? He may be a sociopath. I'm just saying, honey. He know this woman does not want this. Trying to sit up here and convince everybody that she's okay with this and God is blessing her. With turmoil? I don't think so. Child, anyway, after all that, she says, I guess I'm just going to have to work on not feeling like a third wheel. He said, we're going in circles, because God hasn't delivered her from her jealousy. Child, don't blame this on God. Okay, these are normal human emotions when you've been detached from your husband and replaced. Okay, so stop trying to act like this is something that she has to pray her way through. He said there are other people involved and we can't just say we don't want to do it anymore. Yes, the heck you can. Child, you are sick. You can easily call Roberta on the little translating iPhone you got and say, Roberta, we're not going to be able to move forward, okay? Danielle is not feeling it, so we're not going to be able to move forward because she had already told you if Danielle was not on board, then she's not going to be able to continue on with the process. And take that stupid muscle shirt off. You forgot to buy the muscles to go in it. The muscles are sold separately. Oh, I can't stand Garrick. Then Danielle is just sitting there looking. Honey, Danielle, wake up, child. Wake up. But you know what? Judging from your social media, your eyes may now be open. I want you to keep them open. It's looking like, I hate to give you a little spoiler, but it's looking like Garrick and Roberta are over somewhere frolicking by themselves, and Danielle is getting her full zhuzh, okay? Getting her whole single life. And I hope that that is the truth. Child, that concludes Seeking Sister Wife. Child, this one ran a little bit long because it was so much to unpack. I hope that you guys will like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. Come back next week, y'all, because y'all know we like to get together for the trashy TV talk of it all, child. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.